done, but if you look at week 1 through week 12, where do you feel like you made the biggest stride at linebacker?
I think I've started to trust myself more and more as each week goes on. You're starting to see similar run plays, pass plays over and over and over. You start to become more comfortable and you start to recognize a little faster. So just trusting myself, and I feel like I've got better with that.
Cameron T. Robinson, The Athletic.
Sonny, when you play a team like Tennessee who runs so much tempo, but they want to run the ball, how difficult is that? Because a lot of times you've got teams that want to pass it all over the place, but they want to run the ball as much or more than they throw.
I think the biggest thing you got to get lined up fast, and you got to be sharp on what you're doing. If you have to line up and think about what you're doing, you're a second too late, and they snap the ball. You don't know exactly what gap you're in. Now you're out of the wrong gap, and it turns into a 20-yard run. So that's what they want, and then they move fast to get those kind of explosive plays where someone's not in the right spot, whether it's in the passing game or the running game.
Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
Hey, Sonny. If it comes down to you guys having to win these 4 games, mostly on defense, how confident are you that you're up to the challenge?
I mean, as a defense, we always take pride in wanting to win every game on defense, and regardless of how the offense is playing. Obviously, we have a super talented offense, and we expect them to play well, as do they. But we take pride in as a defense. Like, we have enough talent in our defense, and we have obviously a great defense coordinator in Coach Knowles, where we should be able to win any game on defense.
Tim May,
Yeah.
Letterman Row.
Yeah, I was just wondering, Sonny, following up on their tempo offenses, what will be the most critical thing Saturday night for you guys defensively from play to play? Just, you know what I mean? Just is it quickly getting back to where you're supposed to be? Explain to people what you'll be going through out there.
I think as soon as the play ends, you got to be able to sprint to wherever you're going, get the signal, everyone communicate, communication's sharp. You got to know exactly what you're doing. Once the communication's out there, you got to be able to line up and just see what's in front of you. It can't be a whole bunch of looking around like, oh, what are we playing? What are we playing? What are we playing? Like, it's got to be, hey, we're playing this, boom, line up. No, I know what I'm doing. It can't be too much extra communication. You got to be able to be sharp with it.
Do you feel like it will make you guys a little more basic in your approach? I mean, from a defense standpoint, to make it not too complicated? Go ahead.
I don't know if I would say basic. I think Coach Knowles is going to set us up for success. I'm not going to sit here and say we're going to line up and run the same play every time, but I think Coach Knowles is going to set us up for success and make sure everyone's locked in on what we're doing, everyone's sharp, and everyone knows exactly what we're doing.
Deep middle, Tony Girdman, Buckeye Huddle.
Sonny, with the wide receiver splits that Tennessee does, how does that impact you stopping the run?
Obviously sometimes it kind of stretches the linebackers outside of the box. You get a linebacker apex between the end man and the receiver, so you're coming in from like a wider angle to make the play. It's a little different than what you see with most teams. You apex a lot, but not to that extent. So, you got to counteract that with different looks. You might not be apexing all the time. Sometimes you might stay in the box. Sometimes you might not match the receiver's width. But I think you just got to be sharp with your eyes. When you're coming from that far, you got to know exactly what you're seeing, and once you see, you got to go because you got a lot of space to make up.
How much have you done it this year?
I got to work on it quite a bit. Like Tennessee's unique with how far it is, so you're not usually apex as far as that. But obviously we're able to replicate that in practice this past 2 weeks, a week and a half, whatever that may be. So we're trying to get the best look we can in practice with it.
Right next door, Tom Moore, Buckeye Huddle.
Nico Iamaleava seems like he does a really good job extending plays, and sometimes that's run, and sometimes that's just buying time to throw. What kind of a challenge does that present for you? Having to be real disciplined in your rush, not letting him get out, but also, if you're in coverage, you might have to cover for a lot longer than you normally would.
Yeah, it takes all 11, so it starts with the rush lanes, like you said, everyone being in the rush lanes where they're supposed to be, and then if he does happen to get out, because he's a great athlete, and obviously you're going to have a chance to make some great plays, you got to be able to hang in there. Whoever you're on, stay on them, be disciplined in your coverage. But, it sucks for a defense when you feel like you got everyone covered and he just gets out the pocket, runs for 20 yards. That's like, dang, it sucks for a defense. That's difficult to work with. So we're obviously going to have to plan for that and be able to counteract that.
Any other questions for Sonny? Dan Hope, 11 Warriors.
Yeah, Sonny, you obviously have a decision to make after the season is over. Have you thought about that at all, going into the last home game of the year?
No, not at all. I've been just worried about winning this game.
Rob Aller, Columbus Dispatch.
Yeah, how do you get the taste of the Michigan loss out of your mouth? I know as a team you guys talk about it, but how do you personally do that?
Obviously it sucks. It's the game, so it's one of the most important games of the year. So it sucks losing that game, but you got to turn on the film, watch it, see what you did well, see what you did wrong. You try and fix that, and now we're blessed with the opportunity to go try and compete for a national championship. So now you got to move on and go win this game.
And when the defense plays so well, the offense struggles a little bit. How do you handle that from a frustration level?
I mean, I think the defense, we're frustrated that we should have played well enough to win the game. I mean, people talked about us, but we played, defense played good enough to win any other game. If the offense plays, I think the defense, we were talented enough, we should have won the game with our play. And I don't think there should be any kind of pointing fingers at the offense. I mean, because there's a time and point where we didn't play so well. And, people talked about us losing games. And we turned around and ended up being one of the best defenses in the country. So I got full confidence in our offense to play well, but I think the defense is more frustrated at ourselves. We feel like we should be able to win any game, like I said before.
Pat Murphy, 24/7 Sports.
Excuse me. Coach Knowles was just talking to us about kind of the creative ways in practice they've simulated tempo. What's that been like from a player perspective, and how do you feel like it's worked out for you guys?
I mean, it's been well. I think they definitely try to give us the best look they can, but obviously you can't really replicate the exact look that they give because they're obviously really good at it. I mean, you turn on the film, it's like the ball's going to snap and this play clock's only down like 5 seconds. So it's kind of hard to replicate that, but I think it's more of a mental thing. You got to imagine in your mind of how fast I'm going to have to get lined up and know exactly what I'm doing in the game. And I think we got a lot of mature guys in our defense, so we're going to be able to handle that well.
And final question, Spencer Holbrook, Letterman Row.
You've been asked about the run game a little bit, but Dylan Sampson in particular, what does he do differently than the other? You guys have played like Caleb Johnson this year, the Michigan running backs. You've seen some pretty good backs, Singleton. What stands out about Sampson that makes him so good at what he does?
I think with a lot of explosive runs, I've seen you see a lot of patience from him. Sometimes you see him being very patient behind blocks, and he finds the crease and he shoots it. Obviously he has some pretty good breakaway speed, but I think the biggest thing is patience. You don't always see that with every running back, but he's very patient and he waits for the right time to hit the right crease.
Sonny, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, son.